Yeah, so can we just admit that you probably will never be this happy in your entire life? I know I can. I can freely admit that. This is Sophie, my dachshund. Hey everybody, it's Sully. We're going to walk through. I just saw that BetaFlight 3 or BetaFlight 10.3 RC3 released, and I'm about to run through, ouch, and update from my 3.4.0 RC2. And then we're going to take a test flight and see how this runs. Go to the CLI, type in BL for bootloader. It's going to go into DFU mode. So DFU mode, we're going to do show unstable releases. Omnibus F4 is what my 3-inch Micro Beast runs. S4. I am currently on RC2. I'm going to RC3. Load firmware online. Wow, there's a lot of stuff. Gracious, major features. So we have overhauled and improved filtering, massively improved. I don't have an F7. I don't use GPS. I don't even use SD card. That I do use. That's a cool one that allows you to use your transmitter through the USB as remote control for flight simulators. I do use that one, but I have not been able to use it on the other due to some complications that I assumed were due to just something it didn't control. Anytime I pressed down, it would go to 100%. So hopefully it'll work on this one. Added CMS over, so I don't know what that one is. Experimental filter-based RC channel smoothing. That one's pretty cool. Acro trainer's good. Throttle boost is great. Throttle limiting I haven't used yet, but it's something I want to do. PID loop improvements, that's good. So yeah, anyway, on to it. Flat. Alright. Got the beeps. Connected. Go to welcome, connect. Yay! So here we are. Ports, this is what I always do. So mine's UART6 serial. Save and reboot. Configuration. D-Shot 600. Motor stop, I leave it alone. This all looks good. Mine has 180 degrees yaw. I do not do barometer or accelerometer. I keep it at 8K, 2K. Camera, I always set it at 30 degrees. That way if I ever use, that's only for the FPV camera up tilt compensation. Arming, I set to 180 so that no matter where I land, I can always arm and disarm. Knock myself out of a tree. Receiver, serial base, and I use iBus. I don't use these two. I always permanently enable air mode. I don't want to use beacon tones. I do want to turn off USB. Turn off when it's powered through USB. And that has never worked for me in the past, so maybe not. Save and reboot. Alright. Double check my work. Configuration. If this did not set, then I would have had my wrong UART. Power and battery. I do like 3.3 and 3.5. That brings me down at about 14.8 on a 4S, which is about where I want to come down. I will turn off. I have no current meter. So save. Everything else looks good. Failsafe. I want stage 2. Which will kill. I didn't know there was a kill now. Stage 2 activation. I normally do 0.8 seconds. That's more than enough time. If something was going to happen, yeah, that's a good time. I don't really want my quad flying more than a second without inputs. That would be bad. So, oh, that's for Switch. Oh, well that's nice. Okay, I don't use my Failsafe Switch, so this is changed in BetaFlight Configurator 10.3. But stage 2 settings I just want to disable. Save and reboot. Alright, PID tuning. Now this has gone back to standard. I'm going to keep these values. This is a 3-inch flyer, but the last values for BetaFlight were amazing, so I'm going to do that. I use what I would call pretty high rates. I just like how this feels, that's all. I don't use RC Expo strength. Want my D point, the set point weighting to be 1. Now on this, there was a warning, yeah. Greater than 0, less than 0.1 instability. So I'm going to use, wow. Going to use 0.5 based on the recommendations. I do use 8 anti-gravity. I like VBAT PID compensation. Everything looks good in here. Going to save, go to filter settings. So notch filters, you notice are off. I leave these on, profile dependent and independent. I leave these on just because I haven't tried this one yet. Don't know what it's going to do. And let's see, receiver. Modes, I'm going to set up here. Now one thing I like that they've done with the new BetaFlights is that I just have to plug in my controller, turn on my controller, and now we can add ranges. So arm, just auto, slide over, click, okay, angle, and horizon. I use a two position switch. I don't use these modes very often, but I will yeah, see, I will use them every now and then just for fun. Head free, failsafe. I don't set my failsafe anymore since I have an arm switch. Beeper, I use one of the turn wheels. OSD, FPA, angle mix. I do use every now and then, but not often. Haven't used it in quite a while, actually. 30-second black box erase, that's cool. Camera controls I don't use. I actually don't use turtle mode since I just fly in my front yard lately. VTX pit mode I don't have. Paralyze, I haven't used Paralyze and I don't really want to, but I love Acro Trainer. Mostly for line of sight. It is fun, so we're going to set that up in a second too. Alright, go through, check all my switches again. Ching-a-ching ching. Uh-oh. Yeah. Beeper, gotta turn that down. Ching-a-ching, ching-ching. Alright. So all of these work fine. We're gonna hit save. And yep, that works. Adjustments I don't do. Servos, motors. OSD, I do like certain things. I forgot this one I don't use OSD on, so I'm just not going to worry about that. We're going to go down here. See what we have, anything fun. Camera control inverted, that's cool. Debug, 6 position switch. This is the set USB HID CDC. This is the one if you want to use a controller, which I will be trying later. I miss having a flight simulator, but I hate using my Smart Pro Plus. I hate using that. Horizon Tilt Expert Mode, I don't know what that is. Let's see, anything good? The only ones I want to do, I do like the iTerm relax set. iTerm. I like this to be set to RPY, so I'm just gonna copy here, copy, paste, RPY, enter. I do like that. Set throttle boost. I like my throttle boost a little bit higher, so I did like that at about 7. Okay, RC. Whoops. There we go. RC. There's a lot of RCs. RC smoothing. This one. I want to set this to filter. Filter to try out the new filter. Okay. Believe I am done. Going to go back to config. I forgot I don't have OSD on this, so there's no use to have it. And from here, just running through my settings again. One thing I do like to do with this, stick low threshold, I like to do 1010, center, 1990. By the way, disarming, that arming disabled up here will save you a lot of trouble. Just don't rely on it. So I don't have a battery hooked into this one, which is why it's only showing 4 volts. I have no battery, so my arming doesn't do anything. And that's going to do it. We're going to go take a test flight and see if we need to do any more changes. I feel like this will be great. Click. So please remember when you when you add a new BetaFlight that you should always arm way away from yourself, because quadcopters can spaz out and flap you in the face and go crazy, and you know, props hurt. Even 3-inch props. I don't really want to catch this thing. So first off, out of the gate, I noticed that it flies really well. I like the deset point transition, and that 0.5 makes it a little smooth. It does, the PIDs look pretty good. I'm not noticing any prop wash here, and it's flying with a lot of precision. I like it. It feels really good out of the box. I'm not seeing anything kind of ugly. I will say throttle boost at 7 is pretty daggum good. I like it. You just kind of tap the throttle a bit and you will catch yourself very quickly. This is my first flight around, so I'm really just trying to get the hang of it, see if it feels any noticeable difference. And the only thing I can see is it's a little tighter. It feels really good. That was a full throttle punch out. That was the full throttle back. No oscillations. The motors sound great. And I'm noticing nothing out of the ordinary. Right out of the box for a 3-inch flyer, I can definitely recommend this. I'm going to just skip ahead because I did update this on my Leader 120 and noticed quite a few things differently. So for this flight, I'm going to leave it at stock for right now. This is with the iTerm Relax at RPY and the stock PIDs, and quite honestly, it's feeling pretty good on here. Actually really good. It did bring my motors down a little bit warmer than I'm used to. Well, it's cooler than it was on 3.3 and warmer than it was on 3.4 RC2, which has the best feeling for the motors. I will say this one is good enough that the feel of the new filters is good enough that I'm going to keep RC3, even though the motors come down a tiny bit warmer. They're not at all in a dangerous category. I can just put my fingers on the 1407s and feel like it's good. It's not too hot, not smoking or anything like that. I'm not in danger of ruining anything, but they are warmer than they were. The other caveat to that, it is 95 degrees in South Carolina right now. Probably 10,000% humidity. There's an afternoon storm that's coming, but it is hot as blazes out. And I was outside for 20 minutes in the sun, and I have a nice redneck right now, so we're good. Anyway, I'm going to jump ahead right now. So now this is my leader, and it is set with the stock settings as well. Since it's an F3 board, it does not have that I-term relax and doesn't have the throttle interpolation. So no throttle filtering or I-term relax. And honestly, it feels pretty good. I am noticing a bit more prop wash in coming around front to back. But it feels really good. Like right there was a jitter and right there. But overall, feels pretty good. All I can really say about it, I'm a little nervous with it in that motor heating issue is a bit worse on the Leader 120. And in this one, you can't see how much of a prop wash difference there is. Let me skip ahead to a different flight. So yeah, this is a little bit better of a flight to show it, but once I noticed it, it was really easy to pick out that it seems like some of the PIDs or the filters or something aren't quite as good on the F3 boards, jitter. So I'm going a little slower, and any of the whip turns, like right there, it's a jitter, there's a jitter. You can hear it in the motors too. I don't have an audio on the motors. There it is. So if you're doing crazy fast back and forth like this, and I fly like this all the time, it's jittering kind of out of control way. This is with just the stock PIDs. I tried decreasing D. I haven't tuned it yet, and I feel like I could get a good tune out of it, but with it being stock, I can't recommend it for the Leader 120. I can say it flies very well except for that. So if you have a smaller quad, I would definitely PID tune before sticking with the with RC 3.4 RC2. Sorry, BetaFlight 3.4 RC2. It does, the throttle boost is very nice. That's the only way I can stay that low to the ground. I'm trying right now just to see if there's something wrong with my quad, or if it's the too much D, or the PIDs are that far off. So I was trying to keep it kind of low. But yeah, anytime you whip around, it gives a couple bobbles. Definitely needs more tuning out of the box. Other than that, it still works well. I think with the Leader 120, I'm going to jump back to RC2 until I can either get some time to PID tune. Yeah, like right there, that's just a straight flight, and it looks like it's jittery in the wind. So there is a storm, you can see it back there, and it's making a good bit of wind, but normally the Leader doesn't bobble that much with that. It was a slight breeze, and normally it doesn't cause that many problems. In this case, it caused a good bit of jittery stuff, and I didn't like it. The other thing I did not like is that the motors came down way hotter than what I'm used to. For the Leader, even with bent props, it'll come down with barely noticeable motors, noticeable heat in the motors. Now it's coming down, and it will, you can't keep your fingers on them. No smoke, but definitely hotter. And I think most of that is just due to the bad PID tune and possibly the lack of filters. So I'm going to probably just bounce back to RC2 for this one, since it didn't make a noticeable heat increase. And other than that, this is RC3, my first impressions with an F3 board on the Leader 120. The F4 boards I can recommend totally for a 3-inch quad, and more than likely for a 4-inch quad or 5-inch, anything larger than 3. I would not recommend the stock settings for any an F3 board or a 2-inch, 2 to 3-inch quad right now. Not without a lot of tuning, and that's something I didn't do today. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. As always, I truly appreciate everyone here. So if you could give me a like and a thumbs up, or leave a comment and tell me what I can do better. Just tell me what I can do better, and I will greatly, greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much, and we'll talk at you later. Hope y'all have a good one. Take care.